travel global for teaching English on generally relate to how the teacher teach students to acquire language knowledge and skill. Teaching method, textbook, management class, or even the teacher utterances in the learning language, because basically the student themselves which play an important role in the learning process. In this support by Wegener et al. 2013, who argued that the participant learning strategies education is important for them to be successful in learning. Enthusiasts to investigate strategies learning strategies have emerged since 1980. A study conducted by Lee and Haynes 2016, which investigate language learning strategies English out of 20 successful language learners, revealed the use of the strategy learning, in particular metacognitive strategies such as a disciplined approach to learning language and progress monitoring, strategy cognitive skills such as reading aloud and text analysis. Language teachers should aware of their learning preferences different to each individual student. These learning strategies need to be known and supported its use so that teacher can help language learners to success in learn a foreign language and also for more independent in their learning process. Language learning strategies according to she 2016 and 17, namely a series of steps that used by students in improving their learning to control their own learning process with developed language skills, increase self-confidence and motivation in the learning process. There is increased awareness of the importance of developing skills English has acquired in society, especially those in the scope of education are actively and independently involved in the process, learn them on their own. Deep Oxford Tanjung 2018 defines strategic language learning as an endeavor done by students to get and manage information. In fact, strategic language learning can be used effectively, consequent, and habitual and automatic with practice. Pathwork and Oxford 2018 mentioned that the learning strategies is goal-directed action that can make the student become user better language and language learning effective. From the option above, research define the use of strategic language learning as techniques specifically owned and used by participant educate, whether consequently or not, to help them acquire and use English, which does the use of learning strategies language refers to the use of technique especially by students to help they acquire and use language English. Learners, these metacognitive strategies said to be able to correlate the process learning such as organizing, planning, and motoring. Additionally, participants educate with social effective strategy is said have the ability to immerse themselves in learning like collaborating with peers and clarifying.
Learning strategies have been topic of discussion for a long time, resulting in various definitions. One then and Rubin quote by There, define language learning strategies as any sets of operation or steps used by learners that will facilitate acquisition, storage, retrieval, or use of information. In terms of language learning, Oxford defines strategies as specific behaviors or thoughts that learners use to improve their language learning. In addition, Oxford argues that to improve communication skills in English, learning strategies have a very important role because with strategies because with strategies language learner can engage actively and independently on their own learning process. O'Malley and Hamlet view language learning as specific thoughts of behavior in processing information that individuals use to help them understand, learn, and retain new information. Oxford, in defining language learning strategies, defines language learning strategies as specific thoughts or behavior in processing information. Oxford, in defining language learning strategies as effort made by learners to obtain and manage information. From some of opinion above, the researchers defines the use of language learning strategies as specific techniques that learners have and use, either consciously or unconsciously, to help them acquire and use English. Oxford in propose a more specific definition of learning strategies as a specific action taken by the learners to make learning easier, faster, or more enjoyable, more independent, more effective, and more transferable to a new situation. Learner with cognitive strategies are said to be able to apply certain technique to a given task such as repeating, reasoning, and analyzing. In addition, the learners with social affective strategies are said to have the ability to immerse themselves in learning, such as cooperating with peers and clarifying. Meanwhile, Oxford's synthesize six categories of learning strategies, namely memory strategies, cognitive strategies, compensa- compensa- mm, sorry, compensatory strategies, metacognitive strategies, affective strategies, and social strategies, divided into two main types, namely direct type and indirect type. Memory strategies are strategies that students use in evoking, understanding, storing, and acquiring new knowledge. Cognitive strategies are strategies that help students process the target language, and compensatory strategies are strategies that enable learners to use the target language comprehensively and productively. Memory strategies include activities that involve students' memory, where students connect the language concept they learn with the knowledge they have, learn them concept using visuals and audio, review well the language lesson, receive and practice them. Cognitive strategies include activities where students practice or use the language they are learning, receive and convey message or information, analyze and reason, and create structure for input and output. As for compensatory strategies, where students in using English can see the context to guess intelligently, for example, vocabulary, and overcome their own limitation in speaking and writing using the language. The second type of learning strategies, according to Oxford, is indirect strategies, which include metacognitive strategies, affective strategies, and social strategies. Meta- mm-mm. Metacognitive strategies are strategies where students control their own learning by centralizing their learning, structuring and planning their learning activities, and evaluating their learning progress. Effective strategies are students' attitude toward their learning process by reducing anxiety in learning English, such as not being afraid or of being wrong when using the language, motivating the self, and regulating emotional well. The social strategy, I'm sorry. The social strategies include how students learn English by involving people around them, either by asking questions to people who can speak English, cooperating with other learners, and empathizing with them. The seal contains six categories of analytically created strategy related to memory strategies, cognitive strategies, compensatory strategies, metacognitive strategies, affective strategies, and social strategies.
Memory strategies and cognitive strategies are the strategies most often used by students. Both of these strategies are in the high category with an average of 3.71 and 3.74. Based on the result of the study, it was found that participating students use the six language learning strategies classified by Oxford into memory strategies, cognitive strategies, compensation strategies, affective strategies, and social strategies. The strategies most often used by students are memory strategies and cognitive strategies, where they often use their memory and mind abilities in learning English. The memory strategies used by students include students' effort to learn and remember English material, especially vocabulary, by looking for relationships between English concepts they already know and the concepts they will learn. Making sentences with English words to make it easier to remember, as well as connecting the meaning of certain vocabulary words by imagining or making illustrations in the form of pictures and flashcards to help store the word in their memory. The strategy that is often used by the next students is a cognitive strategy. According to Oxford by Dede Rohayat in 2016, cognitive strategies are strategies that help students use the concept of the target language, in this case, the English they are learning. The strategy includes students participating using English, watching movies, and many more, who speak English, read books or novels in that language. There is a compensation strategy in which students in learning English can guess the meaning of English by looking at the context without always translating words one by one. They also try to overcome their limitations in speaking and writing in English. Metacognition strategies are strategies students use to control their own learning. Affective strategies and social strategies are also strategies used in the medium category, where affective includes how students control their attitudes and motivations in learning English. The affective strategies includes how students motivate themselves to continue learning English without feeling afraid if they make mistakes. While the social strategies include students' efforts to practice in English with other people they know or even they don't know.